My apologies, Ophon. I'm here. My humblest apologies. I was taken captive by three little Mongols. I'm free now. I'm free. But it was fucking brutal, man. I didn't think I was going to get free. My apologies. We are here for the Dawson and Green card. We are going to go through this card. We're going to watch the main event. And I apologize for my tardiness, in particular to Mr. Ophon. How are we all today? My internet's playing up, actually. That's the truth. I can't get the fights up. But yes, I'm trying to get the fights up. I don't know what tricks are occurring here in my life. What's wrong with you, Oliver Ekman? You sick? Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. Brutal day. I thought of you, actually, Oliver Ekman, knowing that you like to do a spot of ice fishing. I was watching people do ice fishing yesterday, watching Alone. If anyone knows what this show, anyways, it's on TV. And I was watching the people do ice fishing, and I've never done ice fishing. I've never even thought of doing ice fishing. And ice fishing to me seems like a ridiculous pastime to do. Like, it looks fun, it looks good to do, but it doesn't look safe. If anyone could shed some light on that and tell me if it is in fact safe or not, because it looks ridiculously dangerous, and I don't know if the squeeze is worth the juice on that. It just seems like the ice could crack and you could fall in that hole and then you'd drown. And you'd freeze. I don't know. That's just me, though. It just seems to be through the roof scary to me. I don't know if that is actually the case. Oliver Ekman says that sweater is nice. Ice fishing is awesome but scary. Do people fall a lot through the ice? Like, I know they do, like in the Yukon or something out in Alaska, but in general, like, is that a thing that happens? Like, does say, for example, in the Australian beaches, people drown every year. Like the rips and the currents and the Australian surf is no joke, and it's dangerous. Do people die every year? Like, just say in Iowa, do they die, or is it not really a thing? People don't. We've got everything up, actually, but yeah, is that a thing? Like that's one of the things. James R says, I bet my studio apartment on the women's fights going the distance. Thanks for the tips, Fab. Man, I'm telling you, Sam changed my life. We want to start looking at doing bets, like not even necessarily betting ourselves, but trying to inform people what would be the best route for a bet. And by far, the lightest women's divisions that you can find, the best bet is to bet on that fight going the distance. That's more the most likely outcome is that it'll go the distance. I wouldn't bet on who's going to, but if you know, like for example, if you know one of the girls is significantly better than the other one, then and you bet on her winning, the chances of her getting knocked out, like in the men's fights, like in men's fights, you can fight like, I might not be as good as someone, but maybe I'm a big hitter and I catch him. For example, today in this fight, I think that Joe Pyfer should be and will be all over Abdul Razak Hassan. Having said that, though, Abdul Razak Hassan does hit like a fucking truck. So he's always got that in his back pocket. You don't see that as much in women's MMA, especially in the lighter division. So if you can bet on the person that on that, but they're going to be the favorite, right? So if you bet on the favorite and you bet big, you can win. But if you bet for sure, like it's like 60%, I think, that like you have a 60% chance of a women's fights going the distance. Oliver Ekman says it gets cold enough here in Iowa to where we get like 12 inches of ice. It can hold thousands of pounds. I can't even believe that. Hey, that's so insane. Heath Perry says, what do you think of Volk versus Topuria? Personally, I think Topuria is a chance, but just watch the Emmett fight. Emmett landed 18 to 20 leg kicks. That's going to be the determining factor. I think the smart money is, of course, on on Volkanovski, right? I definitely think that. But one of the things that you can't, you like, Topuria is really young. Like, he's a young guy with enough fight experience, and this is real. Like, you can't overlook that. That's going to be a big X factor to me because Volk is not old, right? He's not old, but he's getting to an age where he's gonna like that. He's getting to an age where it'll just be bang. He starts getting caught, or he starts not recovering because he's been caught a few times. Like, but he recovers because he's a fucking animal. But it's going to get to that stage, unfortunately. Like, I hope Volk fights till he's 50, but that's not the case. Father time gets us all. So I do think that's a big X factor. You got a young guy that his improvements between fights and his hunger are going to drive him. So you may not see the same Topuria that you're used to seeing in there with Volkanovski. You know, he may improve a lot between fights, and he probably address those leg kicks. You know, so that's going to be a big X factor. And whilst Emmett did land the leg kicks that he took a insurmountable amount of damage that he was never going to come back from. Like, he wasn't going to win that fight. And I think that if Topuria was landing those kind of shots, which I don't think he will, Volkanovski is much more elusive. His footwork's a lot better. But if he did, Volkanovski's not going to go, I'm going to land some leg kicks and try and land some shots. Volkanovski's going to try and fight him and try and win the fight. It's just a different scenario. I do think that Topuria is similar to Volkanovski, kind of similar, not exactly the same, but similar to Volkanovski in his build. And that'll be interesting to see how Volkanovski deals with that, because for the most part, Volkanovski deals with like tall, lankier guys in general. Like, people won't say, no, he doesn't. In general, I'm talking about. This is more like how it was with Chad Mendes, for example. But Topuria's on the up. He's coming up, and he can wrestle. He's a very good grappler, and he's got heavy hands. Of course, I favor Volkanovski, just objectively, and subjectively, I am going for Volkanovski. I hope Volkanovski starches him, but it's going to be very interesting. Oliver Ekman says, no, in the summer, there's usually 1 or 2 drownings. There hasn't been an ice drowning in quite a while. People drive their full-size trucks on the ice. I would never do that, but people do. Fuck me. There you go. James R says, any clue why some of the fights got cancelled? None. 0. Brad Galea says, morning, legend. Speaking of Volk, I'm rewatching his fight versus Yair. What a masterpiece. Yeah, I feel like that Yair in that fight, though, because people said that to me. I didn't even watch the fight live, because I thought outside of Yair catching him, I just did not see what he was going to do to Volkanovski. No disrespect to Yair. I just, like, outside of him catching him with a kick and that, he's dangerous, don't get me wrong. But outside of that, early on in the fight, I just, if he didn't get it done, with a flying knee or some sort of kick or something, or a punch down the middle, I don't see how he was gonna just how he was gonna catch him. I just don't see it. Like, I don't think it'd even be fucking close. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. I just thought Volkanovski would be too much in every single way, and he was. Just interesting. Topuria is an interesting one, man. Like, it's not always, you can't do the MMA maths, because there is a thing with age that's a fucking, it's a real factor, especially, like, you got to understand, he's not 22, Ilia Topuria, he's not 22. He's 26 years old, and at 26 he's had 14 fights. That's a lot of, like, experience at the top end. I think 6 of those or something like that have been in the UFC. So, like, yeah, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 of those have been in the UFC. So he's got a lot of fight experience, and he's at a young age too. So he's got a bit of an older head on a young body. This is a big factor. Now, Volkanovski could well be at his peak, or he could be just out of his peak. I don't know. You know what I mean? I really don't know, because his peak's so high. And that doesn't mean that he's going to lose. But I'm saying that this is an X factor. Kyan says, I got jumped by 5 dudes yesterday. Super lucky I didn't get curb stopped. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, Kai. I hope you're okay, man. Where was this? Where did this happen? The fight's about to start. The guys are on there. Bill Algeo versus Alexander Hernandez. I don't think if Hernandez can't get this done early, I don't think he's going to be there against Algeo later down the track. I'm going to look something up before. It says I don't know why. Does anyone know why Ion's fight got scrapped? Felipe Lins, in answer to somebody's question, asked me why did it get scrapped. Felipe Lins was sick last minute. So we're off, people. Algeo's in the southpaw stance. Hernandez in the orthodox stance. We're at 4:43 at the start of the fight. Hernandez throws a right high kick. Now Hernandez in southpaw and Algeo in the orthodox stance. Algeo in southpaw is looking very long. He's not a lot is happening, but he's definitely controlling the range. Checks a big kick. So there was a body kick to the open side by Hernandez, checked by Algeo. Oh, Hernandez goes looking for a right hand lead, and Algeo throws this left knee up the middle. Just missed it. But Algeo looks like pretty tidy here, man. He looks like he's understanding the timing and the distance a little bit better than Hernandez. Hernandez keeps switching stances. Now that he's fighting out of orthodox, but he's switching stances, but he's not doing a hell of a lot. The lead leg is starting to get kicked by calf kicks by Algeo. And Hernandez is looking for a right hand down the pipe to the southpaw Algeo, but it's not landing. It's not even close to landing. Oh, nice combination finish with a spinning back kick by Algeo. 3:27 to go in the first round. So not a lot has happened. Algeo hasn't hurt Hernandez or anything like that, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, he's controlling the distance a little better than Hernandez. Hernandez is looking like he's struggling to get through that range. 1-1-2 to the body by Hernandez. Algeo has obviously studied Hernandez quite a bit because he's looking to land the knee. Like he just lifts that knee up as Hernandez closes the distance. Oh, nice right hand lands by Hernandez. Hernandez is very powerful, but I don't like him at featherweight, to be honest with you. I prefer him at lightweight, but he's had a checkered record, to say the least. He's not without talent, though. They exchange again. Oh, I just turned my head away for a second. I didn't see if he got dropped or if he stumbled. Algeo went looking for a left counter on Hernandez. Oh, nice leg kick. Southpaw, they exchange leg kicks. A couple of really good exchanges there to each other's legs, because they were both fighting from southpaw at one stage. Good exchanges here. 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. Oh, nice kick taken on the forearms by Hernandez. But those kicks that are blocked and they're taken to the body. They're not they're taken to the arms. A lot of the times they're not counted as significant strikes by the UFC. But if you land those kicks to the arms like that, they fucking hurt. They can break your arm anyways. Again, goes looking for that right hand down the middle, and Alger does a great job of just lifting his knee because of the way that Hernandez dips his head when he's coming in on with his blitz. He does a little blitz, right? But it's not fast enough to cover the distance that he needs to cut. And so he kind of leaves his head there for the knee. Front kick up the middle by Hernandez. 56 seconds to go. I don't know how this round is being scored. I'm not a judge. I'm just watching this fight with my cyber friends. And I will tell you, I think Alger is winning this round. Not by a hell of a lot, but he is winning the round, in my opinion. Another left kick to the forearms of Hernandez. But I think of things a little bit different than maybe the judges are looking at it. Like when I see some of those kicks and they're landing on the forearms, to me, that's a significant. Like Fab counted as a significant strike. I don't think the UFC metric covers it. Counts it as a significant strike. If you've never been kicked flush in the forearms, you will not appreciate it. If you hold pads, even hold Thai pads for a dude that can fucking crack, you feel it. You feel it in your arms. You know you can't take those shots without the pads. 1 second to go. Time. Kai Yan says, Karama at like 10 p.m. Dude got me in full mount. My face is a little sore. Jesus, what were you doing in the Badlands? Karama, I grew up right next to Karama, and honestly, it's been gentrified since then. So, and that's, I don't know how gentrified it's been, but yeah, I grew up right near there. So I grew up in Green Valley. It's an area right near Karama, and it is the Badlands. What were you doing at Karama at 10 p.m., dude? Like, and how did I don't know. And I feel sorry for you, and you shouldn't have been there. Oliver Ekman says you got to start training. Kyan says, I'm looking at it as character building moment. I'm surprised nothing is broken. Doesn't matter how I trained. I'm not winning against 5 blokes. No, I don't know what you were doing out. What were you doing out at Karama at 10 p.m.? This is like for the people that aren't from here, because we've got people from other countries watching and that. Like, it's has no attractions ever. Karama. No offense to people in Karama, but it has no attractions at all. Like at the best time of day, there's no attractions there. I think there used to be a McDonald's near there. Think of Australia, how you think of it, and then think the complete opposite. It's not beaches. It's not anything like that. That was like the epicenter, one of the epicenters of the heroin epidemic in the 90s and early 2000s. And when I say it's been gentrified, I just mean that it's probably not the epicenter anymore, but it's still right up there. It's not like a holiday tourist destination. They're exchanging now a little bit. 4:14 to go in the second round. Hernandez starting to come forward a little bit more in this round, which he has to do. He couldn't stand out at the range of Alger. But having said that, I think that for Hernandez to win, he has to start coming forward. And I think slowly he's starting to understand this, and he's not really respecting the power coming back in his direction from Alger. A little bit like the Charlo Canelo fight. One of the boys, shout out to young Harry if he's watching this, told me to watch the fight, because obviously I can only watch so many things because of my kids and that. So I didn't get to watch that fight live, but I did watch it yesterday. And it was similar to this. I'm paying a big fucking compliment here to Alger's striking. Nothing like Charlo's, but it is. I poked him. He said he poked him in the eye. They apologizing to each other. He said he didn't. But the thing I was going to say is Charlo couldn't get Canelo's respect. So it could not stop Canelo from coming forward. And I do believe that in this scenario, Hernandez can see that. You can see Hernandez doesn't really respect Algio's power coming down the pipe, but he's not really taking advantage of it a la Canelo. Of course, he's not Canelo, but still. SG says, greetings, Fab. Greetings, sir. The DNR website says 12 inches of ice can hold 7,200 pounds, 16 inches, 12,800 pounds, and 20 inches of ice can hold 20,000 pounds. Jesus. I probably wouldn't be driving my truck out there then. I just wouldn't. I don't, yeah. Kyan says, going for a walk at night. I know it's stupid, but I needed air. Accidentally bumped into a guy crossing the bridge and got attacked. More of an ego bruise than anything. I hope my face at least broke some of their hands. Fuck. Jesus. Kai, what? No more walking in Karama, mate. We need the views. We need the views here, right? Like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, guys, please share this with your friends. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, Kai. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Do you train at all? Do you do jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, anything? I strongly recommend that you do. If for nothing else, one of the best things for self-defense that I've noticed from doing martial arts and that is like a lot of people have never been in a fight or never even been in an altercation. And one of the things that it does for me is like I've got guys that come through that play football, for example. They're not like rugby league or rugby union. Can't fight, never wanted to fight, whatever, but they're fucking stupid strong, dude. And you just realize if you got attacked by one of these guys, it's going to be a hard situation because they're just so physically strong and aggressive. If you got attacked by two of them, you're pretty much fucked. You're pretty much fucked. Like the whole thing, how like people, you see, oh, jiu-jitsu saved his life and blah, 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 blah. Like, nah. Cayenne says about 8 years in Muay Thai, but that wasn't going to do shit against 5 dudes. No, that's my point exactly. Unless you fucking hit one of them and knock him like into next week and he's spasming on the floor, then the other guys get scared. You're not. Unless, or you're a lot bigger than the other 5 guys. Like something like this, maybe. But if not, no, you can't. People don't. We always do this at training, just playing around. Like we do like 2-on-1 grappling or 3-on-1 grappling, or we do all inners just for fun. Just to warm up or just something different. And if you grab someone's limbs, like if you just one of you grabs a limb of somebody, or if you can grab both their legs, they're pretty much fucked. Like they can't. You can't do much. You will get held down. It's pretty bad. Like just one limb. If there's 2-on-1 and you grab one person, one of you just latches onto a limb and just holds on, the other guy is fucked. Particularly if there's strikes involved. Nice leg kick by Aljo. Hernandez is coming forward a bit more in this round. And I start to think there's not a lot going on in this round here for me to be able to really call it. I think this is going to be one of those fights where people get really upset about the decision. And I just, he's hurt him. He's hurt Hernandez. Hernandez is really like he got hurt. Hernandez is now clinching. It's one of now I would say that Aljo won this round, but not a lot was happening in that fight, and then it becomes one of those things where people feel like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have lost, and like fuck, nothing happened, man, for the whole fight. Not the case, he hurt him, dropped him. At least I think he did, but it's not these guys' fault necessarily, but it's not like a super exciting fight. And I kind of predicted this would happen as far as if Hernandez couldn't get the job done early, Aljo was going to win. I just don't like him at featherweight, dude. Oh, there he goes. Scissor knee does Aljo. 46 seconds to go in the second round. Not the most exciting of fights, but a nice teep down the middle by Aljo. Oh, spinning back fist by Aljo. Partially connects and he lands a little check hook on Hernandez coming forward. Oh, nice little exchange. Hernandez still game, still coming forward. But if he got dropped in this round, which I couldn't see clearly, I'm pretty fucking sure he got dropped. It's not he's not going to win this round unless he fucking drops Aljo now. It's going to get very hard for him going into this third round to do anything to Aljo as far as he got hit right on the chin and dropped. Yes, it was fucking flush on the chin. Then he ate a second one. Definitely Aljo would have had the biggest moment of that round. Nothing much happened the rest of the fight. Ate a knee up the middle. Very lucky not to get knocked out. Heath Perry, I find the judging criteria bullshit. I don't get why the grappler doesn't get any credit for holding someone down for a minute or two with no damage. It's just a change of position. It favors a striker. It's hard, man, because it's easy to shit on the judges, but I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's a criteria that they have to judge on as well. And then it's an interpretation of a criteria that's quite possibly flawed. And then you have your own interpretation of it. I think that in and of itself, like, I mean, there are stand-ups that I've seen that aren't the judges' calls, the referees' call, you know, and that they're bad as well, like some of the stand-ups or from certain positions. I don't know. I think it's hard. It's a hard thing. I don't know how you fix that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you fix that. I think when you're going in there, you have to be educated on the rules and you have to play to the rules. And anyone who thinks otherwise shouldn't be coaching. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be coaching if you can't train your fighter along the rule set and understand that. Understand it's a 10-point must system. Understand it's 5 rounds or 3 rounds. And then you have to go like there's certain strategies to win. You know what I mean? You have to win. For example, you have to win 60% of the round to win that round. And then you have to win 60% of 3 rounds. Then you can lose more percentage of the other 2 that you didn't win, and you're going to win the fight. And it may not look like you won the fight, but this is the criteria. And this is good guys, like, they understand that. You know, the guys that have long reigning careers understand this. And it's hard. You have to work a lot on it. But other guys that want to go in there and make it super exciting, you're not. It's feast or famine. You'll win when you win, and you'll lose when you lose. Whereas if you understand, you got to win 3 rounds out of the 5, and it almost doesn't matter how badly you lose. Not losing 10-8. That's not what I mean. But not losing the other 2. You can lose the other 2 rounds. You can lose those 2 rounds clear as long as it's not a 10-8. And you can just win 3 rounds out of 5. I'm not telling you go out and fight like this, but I'm saying to you, if you do that and you understand that, that's why some of the fights look like robberies. But if the guy wins 3 rounds out of 5, he wins. Now, I don't see Hernandez having the pop in his punches to stop Aljo. Aljo's body language looks bad. He looks fatigued. And so does Hernandez. So I think no one's going to get a finish in this. And I think that Aljo is going to get the nod at this stage. Having said that, after what I just said, the spiel that I just gave, I don't know who won the first. I thought Aljo won the first, but Hernandez could well have won the first if 2 judges saw it that way. And then Aljo definitely won the second. And Hernandez looks to me like he's winning this round. So who knows? 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go. That's how I see the fight, but this is just how I see it. It looks like another eye poke. No, the ref didn't give the eye poke. Oh, nice left hand. Nice little interaction here. 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. Hernandez looking to go to the body. Now 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. It'd be interesting to see. Like I said, like I had Algeo winning this fight, right? And this is a very important thing. But I don't know if all the judges gave him the first round. He took the second round because he dropped him, I would imagine. And now this round, Hernandez probably won. So if Hernandez gets a nod, I said this at the start of this fight, this looks like it's going to be one of those fights where dude's going to feel he got ripped off. Whoever wins this fight is going to be happy, but whoever loses this fight is going to feel like they got ripped off, and they're going to have very, clear arguments as to why they won it. And whoever bet on that guy is going to say that it was a robbery. But this is not a robbery. No matter who gets this decision, this is not a robbery. Whatever happens in this fight, it's a fucking close fight. And you can't argue with it. It just depends how you see these rounds going. Who you give this, I don't know. Hernandez looks like he's pushing forward, doing damage in this round. I don't know. First round, I thought Algeo, but I can't be upset if a judge gave it the other way. So potentially somebody could have given 2 rounds to Hernandez if they give this round to Hernandez. Potentially. Good takedown by Algeo, 2 seconds to go. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Pete says, hey Fab, glad to see you doing the commentary again. So much better than the UFC, guys. Thanks a lot. Makes the fight so much better to watch, mate. That is so fucking flattering. I really appreciate it. If people haven't already, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. No, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. SG says, what if there was AI judges? I don't know. I don't think that I don't understand enough about AI. I don't know how developed AI is. I don't know. The problem with fighting is that there's subjectivity involved. And you really need, I think, in my opinion, you need to have felt damage in my experience. I think you have to have felt damage. I don't necessarily believe you have to have been a pro fighter, because they're not necessarily going to have the best, like not all of them they can fight. That's their skill. Doesn't mean that judging a fight is their skill. This is very different things. Same as coaching. A lot of the guys that are great fighters are shit coaches, and some guys that aren't good fighters are really good coaches. So it's the same with judging. But you need to understand. That's what I'm saying. You need to understand, if a guy kicks you and you take it on the forearms, like bam, like this, you need to understand that it's not as bad as a guy taking a full force to the head. It's not as bad as you taking a full force to the liver. But you feel this kick and it cracks your arms. You need to understand, you need to understand what that meant. You know what I mean? You need to understand that's a significant strike. That's not, oh, you blocked it. No, that's like, fuck, you can't take too many of those. Cyan says, have you ever got jumped? Nah, I've never really been jumped like that. Not like how you got jumped, like this, like 5-on-1 out of nowhere, like kind of thing. Like, nah, not really. So Algeo won. That's fair enough. I feel that that's a very fair win. Now, not like that. Not like I've been walking home and incidentally just got jumped off 5 guys for no reason. No. Just lucky as well, just lucky. I'm not going to say, yeah, because they were too fucking smart. No, just lucky, man. Johnny says, thoughts on Ferguson versus Paddy? Like, Paddy Pimblett should win that fight. I don't see how. I fucking think it's a failure of duty of care for Ferguson, man, because Paddy Pimblett's like a young up and coming guy. Like, that's big and fucking strong for that division. If you allow that fight and you think that Paddy Pimblett can't win, like, Paddy Pimblett should get cut. You know what I mean? Like, he should beat Ferguson. Ferguson's a legend. Ferguson is was a phenomenal fighter. And now he's well past the Ferguson of old, man. It's irrespective of whether or not he can win a fight. This was fucking stupid with people. Like, it doesn't matter if you can win a fight. Like, it doesn't matter if you can win 2 fights. The damage that your body's taking is fucking crazy. Pimbler versus Gordon was a robbery. Dude, I didn't even watch that fight. I remember exactly how this fight happened. I was with some friends at Wombara Bowling Club, and we were just hanging out, having something to eat. We had our kids there, and I was playing with the kids, and they were telling me about the fight. And I said, I don't even have to see the fight, because Paddy Pimblett is not going to lose a decision. It's just not going to lose a decision. If you fucking think that Paddy Pimblett was going to lose that decision, you are fucking naive. I said to him, unless Gordon slits his fucking throat somewhere in the second round where there's no going back, like he definitely won. Because if you slit his throat at the end of the third and he's still bleeding out and his heart's still like pumping and the blood's coming out, they're going to give the decision to Paddy Pimblett. So it has to happen somewhere between the first and the end of the second round where he slits his throat, and Paddy Pimblett cannot move. In that scenario, and only in that scenario, would maybe Gordon get the nod. If not, he wasn't going to get that, And I don't even think that's like, like you're just trying to build up a star, and you're not. It was a decision, and fuck it, like give it to Pimblett. Oliver Ekman says, I think Paddy Pimblett versus Gordon was one of the only true robberies as of late. Yes, I agree. There have been some other ones where I'm like, are we watching the same fucking fight? But that fight in particular, that was like so fucking stupid. Like, it was insulting to anyone's intelligence. I didn't even watch it, dude. And everyone's like, there's no way, Fab. Who do you think? And I said, I remember clearly I was playing with one of my daughters. Yeah, the little one, actually, the middle daughter. I remember it clearly. And I said, like, fucking Paddy Pimblett's going to get the nod. I don't even have to watch a fight. SG says, I think with technology, e.g. sensors and track, strike speed, damage, etc., judging can be made as objective as possible. Yeah, but there's differences, man, because there's dudes that can take shots and there's dudes that can't. And there's dudes that can check, like say you kick me real hard, and I'm not the guy, but I can check really well. Like the impact that your kick will have on my shin will be high, but you got hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I see that being a problem as well, because I think the sensor thing works really well with a sport like Taekwondo, where the objective is, and I think Taekwondo is fantastic, but the objective is to touch. This is what would happen. I got in there and I touched you. So the sensor is very, very good like that. But you could have hit Mark Hunt with, like I could hit Mark Hunt today at full fucking power to his head, and it will do nothing. Look at these little wrists, mate. Look at this. I'm a grappler trapped in a fucking old interior decorator's body. So if I hit Mark with these fucking monsters, it will do fucking nothing. And Mark will give me a fucking power fucking flick like this right in the head, and my little skull will be crushed, dude. It'll be like you put me like, under deep water. I put my head out of a submarine and just my whole pressure just crushed me. That's what it would look like. So it's very, very different, I think, how you can gauge that. SG says, but does striking speed pass for damage? Not necessarily, dude. As well, like you can hit someone pretty hard here in the forehead. And we were talking about this yesterday in our little show this week in MMA. And I appreciate everyone that watches and supports the channel, guys. You guys are fucking champions. But there's a difference, dude. Like we know what knocks people out. Like the Justin Gage, you were saying this. We know what knocks people out, like that and that rotation and the shaking of the head. But we don't know what doesn't knock people out. Like some people get hit exactly the same way and they don't get fucking knocked out. So fuck, who knows? So I don't know that the sensors are going to do the right kind of it would change the sport as well because people will be fighting. It'll become more like a point sparring thing because people will be fighting. If you're smart and you know that that's how they're going to gauge, you'd be fighting like amateur boxing does. You'd be fighting to land shots at speed and not necessarily to do damage. So that's different again. It'll take a lot of the rawness out of the fights, you know. Oliver Ekman says, out of the coming pay-per-views, which are you most interested in? Oliver Ekman says, Fab acts like we haven't seen the VR boxing video. He can say he has interior decorators bodies all he wants. Can't fool the OGs. Give me 1 second. Um, which I don't know, man. There's a few good ones, man. I'm definitely this Islam card with like you have Sharaputin, you have Imavov and Aliskarov, and you have Costa, and you have Hamzat. This is for sure a big one for me. That one for sure. I'm really want to see some of these guys fight. I wish Aliskarov and Imavov weren't fighting each other. Like I said, I would have preferred to see him fight, both of them fight up the card. In particular, since Imavov did relatively well against Sean, who's a fucking champion now, you know, at close, like at short notice, etc. Like I think a lot of people were writing Sean off, you know, and I think Imavov has all the potential to be a champion. I just feel Aliskarov and him are like two really good contenders, possible future contenders, and I don't like to see them kill each other off. I don't SG. I don't know. And it says SG says at a minimum, I think AI would reduce variability between judges. I don't know enough about AI to be honest with you to be able to give a proper talk about it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I think the human subjectivity of judging is, you know, a blessing and a curse because humans understand. Like, if and it should, this is what I'm saying, the judges should understand. Because when I'm watching a fight and I see dudes take it fucking fair on the arms, I'm like, those fucking kicks will break your arms. Like, just a feeling of it, you know? And I don't know how good, and I'm not saying it's not, I don't know how good um it like an AI system would be able to take the human emotion and all that. Maybe they can. I'm pretty sure they fucking could. So I don't know. Leighton J says, "How good was Oleg Taktarov in his time? He was fantastic. He was a combat sambo world champion. Like he lost to Henzo as well, but he beat a lot of guys as well. Like Taktarov was a very good fighter back in the day. Back in the day for that time, yeah, he's someone that could have changed the outcome had he have been in UFC 1. You know what I mean? I think. So yeah, SG says Pfeiffer is looking like he could make strides in middleweight. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's why this fight's going to be very interesting to see. He looks fucking huge compared to Al Hassan. Drew Dober is about to walk in. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be back. Okay, these guys are about to kick off here, gentlemen and ladies, if there's any ladies watching, although I highly doubt it. Yes, Pfeiffer looked huge, man, and he's got power and he can whack. So we're off. Glenn versus Dober. Dober feinting, goes with the right hand to the body. Glenn goes to catch a leg, Glenn goes to catch a leg and misses. Four minutes and 28 seconds to go in the first round. Is Nasruddin out of the fight, Oliver Ekman? Really? Who's taking his place? I didn't see that. Oh, Wally Alves. Nice left hand by Drew Dober. Goes looking for it against Glenn. They're exchanging in close. Again, this is one of those situations where I can't help but feel that Dober's starting to feel like he's not really respecting Glenn's power. I think he's already establishing that, and he's starting to come forward a little bit. 3:38 in the first round. Nice leg kick by Dober, and another leg kick by Dober. He's looking for a left to the body, does Dober, and then he goes up high. Yes, nice combinations in close by Dober. He's taking him on the arm, is Glenn, but he's ate a few too. Glenn looks hurt. Dober drops him. Glenn goes looking for a double leg, switches into half guard. Well done by Glenn to survive that exchange and have the nous to do that. He's holding on to the glove. He's doing gi jiu-jitsu, ref. He's doing gi jiu-jitsus from the fundamentals class where he's holding the sleeve. He should have just started doing spider guard. Jesus, that was so bad. He held the glove. Big left hand lands by Drew Dober. Not a gi class has been missed by Glenn. The way he held on to that. Big left hand drops him again. Glenn's in all sorts of trouble. Pulls guard again. He's out. No, he's not. He's still going. Stop the fight, ref. He's gonna kill him. Stop the fight, ref. He's gonna fucking kill him. Stop it. The fight's done. The fight is done. Beautiful performance by Drew Dober. Excellent performance. And fucking how he held the gloves. That was the fucking best. It just makes me laugh. It was so fucking blatant the way he did it. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I pick that Aliskerov is going to fucking smash Alves. I don't hate Alves, I don't think, but yeah, he has a win over Colby Covington back in the day with a submission, like a guillotine choke. I knew I remembered him from there, but he's lost 2 fights in a row, and he's a welterweight from my understanding of it. Yeah. So he won the Ultimate Fighter Brazil as a middleweight. I mean, he could beat him, but I don't see it. He's got losses against Randy Brown, Munir Lazzez. He beat Munir Lazzez, Munir Lazzez is decent, and then he lost to Jeremiah Wells by KO, and then he lost split decision to Nicholas Dalby. It's going to be tough for him to, I think, beat. But he's a good grappler, so it's going to be an interesting fight. I tend to think that Aliskerov is going to have his way with him to a certain degree. Wow. Okay, Johnny says, if you could be matchmaker, what fight would you like to see happen in the future? Mine would be Peter Yan versus DAWSON Figueiredo. Fuck, that would be a good fight, eh? That would be a good fight. I think Peter Yan wins that fight too, by the way. I think he just stays in boxing mode longer than DAWSON can. What fight would I like to see happen? Okay, I'll tell you. I'd like to see like the. I'd like to. Can I? Does it have to be just one fight? Or it's groups of fights, right? So I'd like to see the guys at lightweight, like Darius. Now he's kind of in that mix, but I'd like to see the guys at lightweight, like Gamrot and Sarukian and a couple of others, fight up and fight into that group of guys that just kept fighting themselves. Like I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see the same thing in middleweight. I'd like to see Imavov against some of the top contenders. I'd like to see Brendan Allen against some of the top contenders. I'd like to see, to me, Malkoun beat fucking Cody Brundage. You know what I mean? Like he shouldn't have hit him in the back of the head, but he did. He was never going to lose that fight. This is my opinion. And so I'd like to see Malkoun, Imavov, Aliskarov, Bo Nickel, Kezriev. I'd like to see that batch of guys fight up the card. Gregory Rodriguez. This is my wish list, right? That's what I'd like to see. Not fight each other. I'd like to see them just fight up the card and just see new blood coming into that division. Because I think, like a Gregory Rodriguez versus Vettori fight, like to me, that's more interesting than Gregory Rodriguez fighting fucking somebody in the top 15, and maybe he wins, maybe he loses. But there's so many good fighters. That Uzbeki guy with the long name, the real tall guy that just beat Bruno Ferreira, knocked him out. Like all these guys, like there's new blood. These guys are legitimately good. I'd like to see them fight Hermanson. I'd like to see them fight. There's a group of guys that I would bring through to fight in that top 10, and see new matchups. That's what I would like to see. SG says Imavov's out due to visa issues. That's interesting. Randy says, hey, Fab, an all great show yesterday. Will you be doing that each week? Oh, the show from yesterday, will I be doing it each week? Yes, I hope so. If it's not too much of a stressful situation for my wife, because I am at work in the morning, we have jiu-jitsu classes, and then after jiu-jitsu class, I come home and I try and take the kids for a little walk to give my wife some reprieve. And then I do the podcast, and then we have the rest of the day. But so depends on how things are. Yes, I would tend to think that I will do that every week. I don't want my wife to leave me. She's been very good to me. Cayenne says, my face is pretty sore from the arse whooping I took yesterday. Worst part about it was how they really enjoyed the process. Laugh out loud. They sound like fuckwits, mate. They sound like fuckwits. Oliver Ekman says, so did they just whoop you a little bit and leave, or what? Like kind of like a bear attack, Ekman. I have to explain that to Ekman because he's a bit of a hick. Ofon says the ref let 5-6 extra shots than he needed. Yeah, I always feel like stop erring on the side of fighter safety is better. SG says that glove was going to come off, man. I thought he was going to do like the fucking fundamentals jiu-jitsu program you do with beginners, and you go, you control the sleeves and you put your fucking feet. This is the guard. You can put your feet. Like I say to the little kids in my gi classes, I say, the way that this works is you have to have your grips. Always have to have your grips in the gi. And then once you have your grips, and you have your grips anywhere you like, on both sleeves, on the lapel, on a sleeve, on a leg, and a sleeve, whatever you like, but you have to have grips, all right? And then your dirty feet have to be all over his clean gi. So it's dirty feet on clean gis plus grips. And this guy's been listening to that class because that's exactly what he did. He got his fucking grips and he put his dirty feet all over the clean gi. Randy says that was brutal. That was brutal, Randy. That was brutal. Oliver Ekman says, is that the same ref from the Watersons fight? I don't know. But he seems to hate fighters, that guy. Sorry, I'm going to skip a few things. Cayenne says, probably a good 3 minutes of ass whooping and they left. It felt like an eternity, though. Dude got me in full mount and took turns punching my face. What the fuck is wrong with people, dude? What would possess you to fucking do that? I don't know. Like, honestly, I do think sometimes people must have fucking, like, obviously would have had to have severe trauma in your life to do that. I had a mate, and this will remain he'll remain nameless, but I have a few mates like this actually, but growing up, and he used to always be one of those people that would never start the fight, but he'd always finish it. And he was, but and I was a kid too, you know, but I used to think, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because there were heaps of times where, like, yeah, the guy was a dickhead. Like, the other guy was a dickhead, you know, like he did something, but he was a dickhead. And I just kept walking. And my mate would have to fucking put his cape on and be the superhero in the situation. And it was not necessary. Randy says, what do you think about Brendan Schaub? What do I think about Brendan Schaub? Honestly, my honest thing of Brendan Schaub, people take the piss out of him, and he does say some dumb stuff. Like I said yesterday on the podcast when he was talking about rugby league in Australia, that he just had no fucking idea. But I will say this: the guy wasn't a great NFL player, but he leveraged that career into a career in fighting. And then he wasn't the best of fighters, and he leveraged that career into podcasting and comedy. And I don't know his comedy. I don't follow it. I don't follow him. But I think that doing that, like, that shows a lot to me. It shows intelligence. It shows resilience. It shows the ability to pivot and move. And so I give him a lot of credit. And I'm actually a fan of his on that level about those things, for sure. You know what I mean? I don't agree with everything he says and everything, but like, definitely his ability to have done that, like, he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I think that that's pretty impressive. So that's my take on him. Like, I'm not a hater at all. Like, I actually not. But when he says like dumb things, I can't be like, hey, that was fucking spot on, mate. Like, it's not. But yeah. Ofon says, I'd want to see Volk versus Gaethje or Poirier. Yeah, that'd be a good fight, man. Gaethje versus Volkanovski would be a fucking, like, that'd be a barn burner. Heath Perry says, Fab, tell us who you think is going to be champion in each division at the end of 2024. That's a hard one to answer, man, because in my opinion, it also depends on what the UFC wants to do, not just based off who I think could be champion, right? It just depends on who's going to get the shots. Sometimes they're not the best thing. So I don't know. I think, and people might not be active as well. So if Jones beats Miocic, he'll probably be champion. Or no. I'm going to say Pavlovic. Pavlovic could well be champion in the heavyweight division. In the light heavyweight division, it could be Pereira. I think in the light heavy, whoever wins out of Jiri and Alex is going to be champion. Like that, I don't see another dude beating him. Middleweight division's a fucking bit of a pick'em, dude, because like you got guys in there that can beat anyone on any given day. I just don't know how they're going to match make, right? Because Strickland, like, and I've always felt like this about Strickland. Strickland can beat any of those guys. I think the toughest matchup for Strickland is Cannonier, because it's hard for Strickland to move Cannonier back, and Cannonier comes forward on Strickland and punches hard. It's just a fucking weird matchup for Strickland. Whereas with a lot of other guys, Strickland can do what he does to a certain extent. I'm not saying he will do it, but he can do it. That one's a hard one, because I think there's a whole, like I said, there's these 4 or 5 guys. In my opinion, there's Dricus, Rob, Israel, and Strickland, right? They're the guys that are at the top of this division. This is fair. I don't think Cannonier beats Rob. I don't think Cannonier beats Israel. I don't think Cannonier even beats Dricus necessarily. But no, maybe he could, but I can see him beating Strickland again, just based off how they match up. But then you have this whole other batch of guys. There's like a gap. Sorry if I'm offending anyone, I don't see Delice, Vittori, Hermanson, and I really like Hermanson's fighting. I really do. I just like the grappler dudes that, all of that. Anyways, I don't see that group of guys there winning the belt. I don't ever see that. But I do think that there's like your Imavov, Aliskarov, Bo Nickel, these guys that I'd like to see fight up. So any of them, you don't know who any of them could be, because you don't know how fucking good they are. Or Hamzat. Sorry, I fucking left Hamzat out. I don't see Costa winning the belt. Sorry, Costa. Even if he somehow beats Hamzat, I don't see him beating Israel or Rob. I just see that being a really fucking bad matchup for him, you know. So middleweight's a real hard one, you know. Welterweight, and I see Edwards keeping his belt. I really do. I think Colby can give him a run, but Edwards is good, man. He's very, very good. Very, very good. Very underrated. Now we start to get, what do we got there? At lightweight now. Lightweight's hard because I think that there's dangerous challenges for Islam in as far as Charles, and there's guys coming up like Gamrot and Sarukian again that can give him headaches, you know. Darius himself. There's guys there, you know, that's going to be a hard one to pick. Featherweight, if Ilya doesn't beat Alex, I think Alex will hold the belt easy another year, I think. Bantamweight, it's an interesting one. I'd like to see. I'll know more after Sanhagen and O'Malley fight, if they ever fight like that. Like, it'd be interesting to see that one. I don't know. I can't really tell yet. You know, I think O'Malley is very, very good. I think he's absolutely, you know, he is everything that he is. I'd like to see him fight Sterling again. You know what I mean? That would be an interesting one. But it'll be very, very interesting to see how he deals with Sanhagen and his length, and that would be interesting. Although everyone says yes, O'Malley has a longer reach, but still, like Sanhagen is a long guy in that division. He's tall, and with his height comes range. You know, it's not like he's got T-Rex arms either. And what do we got? And then after that, I said bantamweights, and then we got the flyweights. I don't know with flyweights. You know, that one's a hard one. That one's a real hard one. That one I can't tell you. So that's my take on that one, Heath Perry. Sorry if I wasn't able to just give you, boom, this guy like that, because there's a few moving parts, and it's got nothing to do with how good each guy is. It's how they're matched up as well. So it's very hard to say that. I'm actually glad that Imavov is off the card, to be honest with you. Sorry if I skip a couple of them. Hofon says also Volk today versus Khabib 3 years ago. I think it's very hard because Volkanovski loses the mechanical advantage that he has at featherweight. And you saw it even against Islam. Like, if that fight took place at featherweight, Volkanovski would fucking crush him. But at lightweight, it was hard for him to impose his physicality. He did impose his physicality. Don't get me wrong. He fucking did. He was definitely the stronger man in there, but he couldn't impose it in the same way that he did at featherweight, that he does at featherweight. It's the same with Kamaru moving up to middleweight. Will he do well? Of course he'll do well. Could he win the belt? Maybe, against the right guy at the right time on the right night. But can he impose himself at middleweight the way that he did at welterweight? No, I don't think so. And so that's a very and same as Khabib fighting up at welterweight. I think he loses the mechanical advantage that he has at lightweight, just being the bigger, stronger grappler and the way that he fights. So prime Khabib versus Volkanovski, prime Volkanovski, so to speak. I don't think that Volkanovski would be able to keep Khabib off him. You know, I just don't think so. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. I might miss a few. Sorry, guys. SG says, unrelated note, are you or your wife big tea drinkers, Fab? China has thousands of tea varieties. I'm getting into this culture now. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law always at their teas. My wife herself, we drink tea, but we're not like massive tea drinkers and that. Like, we're thinking like my mother-in-law, if you've got ailments, will have a tea for it, whatever it is. You got a broken heart, she's got a tea for it. You took an ass whooping, Cayenne, she's got a tea for it. She does. She's always got like all these remedies for stuff and that. Some of them work and some of them don't work. So I'm going to skip a few. Oh, everyone's like, Ofon says that's why it's hard to keep stupid friends because you feel pressured to have their back when they do or say stupid things you don't want to support. And that's not my way of calling Brendan Schaub stupid. This is Ofon saying this. He says dumb things to try to be creative. And to be honest, he's not good at those witty remarks. Perception was definitely warped, though. We all saw Rob and Adesanya as unstoppable. At least I did. SG says the aura of invincibility surrounding Izzy is going now. Well, yeah, this all gone now. These are things that's real, but again, the matchups are very important, dude, because it depends who you see people matched up against, and then you look. I can't say the things I want to say necessarily because it'll seem bad if I say it, but you see some guys and people go, he had a fucking unstoppable performance, he had an unreal performance against this bloke, but the bloke hasn't won in fucking 5 years, or he's won 2 fights in 5 years, or he lost to you and then lost 5 in a row. And so you can't gauge off that. And so if you're fighting, because also you got to understand UFC is perception, is perspective. Is like they tell you this guy's an amazing fighter and this guy's better than that, but he's got much more followers. This I'm not bagging the UFC. They're very smart in how they market it. But there are fucking fighters coming out of Dagestan that fucking don't have Instagram, you know what I mean? Or don't have that many followers. And they're still very, very good. And they'd be very competitive against guys that are up the chain, And so I don't think like it's the matchups matter. The matchups matter a lot. Like you could have seen Sean like fight Israel maybe right when Israel got into the UFC, say. And Sean had that performance, then the whole thing goes a different direction. You know what I mean? If Sean had beat Israel like that when Israel fought, I don't know, it was 2 fights. When Israel fought Tavares, if Sean had fought him like that and beat him, people would be like, who is that guy? Forget about him. And it wouldn't have mattered. Like the trajectory for Israel would have been completely different. That I'm not saying Israel's not good. I think Israel's phenomenal. But I'm just saying it's just like the matchups that you get as well, Israel beat some fucking phenomenal fighters, but people didn't think Sean was that good anyways. And its matchups matter a lot. We're off. Buckley goes right on Moreno from the start. He throws himself at him. Oh, and then Moreno hits him with a left hook. These guys are like 2 pit bulls off at each other. Buckley ran up to him and he looked like he did like a football tackle or of some description. You couldn't really see what he was doing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was a football tackle or if he threw him, but he was like Moreno and him had a personal issue. But Moreno to me seems like he's pretty he's weathered and he's methodical with his approach. He's very composed is the term I was looking for. Illuminated Chimaev. Yes, Chimaev. Ofon says, Vettori shocked me, to be honest. He was so good at a young age, but it looks like he hasn't improved in the slightest when it comes to his weaknesses. The thing that I feel with Vettori, and this is no disrespect to him, I think he's actually an overachiever. I think he doesn't have the pop necessarily that some of the guys do. I just see him as someone that actually works really, really, really hard, but he doesn't have the finesse and the speed. He's got you know what it is? He's got a great work ethic, it seems to me, and a really good chin, and he's physically strong. And on that base, he'll be able to beat a lot of guys that aren't the upper echelon guys. And he'll make a very good living doing so. But when you get, to the top, you're starting to talk about guys that, Buckley rocks Moreno a little bit. It's starting to talk about guys that have that, and then they have all the other X factors, speed, finesse, movement, and Vettori doesn't have those other things. And I think he came along in the middleweight division at a time where it was in a transitionary period where you didn't have that. You didn't have like there was a time in that middleweight division where you had Anderson, Damian Maia, fucking Jacare, Rockhold, Weidman, Tim Kennedy, Bisping, Rob, fucking hell. Like you could have potentially even had Israel and Pereira at the time. You know what I mean? You could have potentially had them. So, he came along at a different situation into that division. Oh, Belfort. You had Belfort as well. Yeah, it was stacked at one time. I don't think the equivalent of him would have been in the top 10 at that stage. Buckley in the southpaw stance. Buckley's looking to explode and explode and explode on Morono. And Morono is actually looking really composed. I'm actually pretty impressed with him. It's going to be interesting to see. He doesn't look good doing it. Buckley's very aggressive and he's coming forward throwing bombs. But it's going to be interesting to see if Buckley can't get him out of here in the next, I'm going to say 3 minutes, how this fight plays out. Because some of the shots and some of the things that Buckley's doing are taking a lot of energy, and he's not really hurting Morono either. Now Buckley's circling away, big flying knee, hits air. And Morono's very composed, hasn't taken damage. He's not really even moving backwards. It's not like Buckley's pressuring him a lot and moving backwards. He's just doing massive explosive movements. And Morono's just, nice exchange. Morono's looking for that right hand in the middle as Buckley is moving forward in southpaw. Buckley's throwing big shots just through a left high kick, but he missed by about a foot. And so I don't know how this is going to play out as this fight progresses, and inevitably Buckley starts to slow down. Big, massive double leg by Buckley on Alex Morono, and he's got Alex Morono down. He's in a guard. Alex Morono switches to an armbar. This armbar is in fucking deep. 38 seconds to go. His legs are crossed. Buckley's pulling his arms out. Morono's switching to a triangle. Throws an up kick there, a little up kick, and he's starting to look for these up kicks. Buckley's able to power out of it again. But again, man, like all of these movements, this would be here. Morono should start front kicking Buckley, because this exchange that Buckley just did then would have taken a lot out of him, man. Like it would have taken a lot out of him. Just a massive blast double leg. And then now he's looking for another one. Morono's looking for a guillotine. This guillotine's in fucking deep. Buckley slams him. There's 1 second to go, and that's the wrap for that round. If Buckley's not careful, man, Buckley's going to get fucking caught in a submission. The Ofon says the problem with lightweight is people like Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje not fighting that much but holding pretty high rankings. Yeah, or just fighting each other. Yeah, just fighting each other. Ofon says makes a division feel stagnated, kind of like welterweight. Agreed. See, a welterweight to me, Shavkat, Hamzat when he was there. There's a couple of others. Like they should fight up the card. That's it. You know what I mean? Which is starting to happen now with Shavkat, but it should have happened earlier. Ofon says there's going to be a really fast change in the guards at lightweight soonish. I believe many of the old bulls are getting to their mid-30s now. Yes, sir. Oliver Ekman says, I see Dan Hooker being champ in every division, lightweight and above. Ofon says, yeah, lightweight, he's maybe 5 to 10% stronger. At featherweight, it looks like he's 15 to 20% stronger. Man, at featherweight, he's probably even more stronger than that. Oliver Ekman, Usman is at middleweight. No, I just threw that out there. We're on again. Oh, goes looking for a left high kick. Does Buckley, falls over. Morono's going looking for that right hand. I think Morono's going to win this fight if Buckley can't get him out of here in the next minute and a half. 4:41 to go in the second round. Buckley definitely won the first round, right? But he expended a huge amount of energy to do so. I don't know that he's going to be able to keep that train up. Sorry. Buckley's throwing bombs. He's landing them on Morono, but he's not getting him out of there. Sorry, I could just hear my kids fucking fighting each other in the background. The two girls fight each other, and then they fight the little boy, and the little boy's starting to fight again. It's funny. But they look after each other too. They just get at each other. 4 minutes to go in the second round. Buckley's still coming forward. Morono's still looking for that right hand down the pipe. Buckley's throwing huge hooks, but they're labored now. You can see it in him. They're very, very labored, the shots. He really came out very hard in that first round. And Morono should start turning the heat up a little bit because Buckley's starting to slow down a lot. Shots to the body here will serve Morono well. Has Morono got the ability to take advantage of this? I don't know, because Buckley's definitely slowed down. 3 minutes to go in the second round. 3 minutes is an eternity if Morono starts putting pressure on Buckley. And because of a 3-round fight, Morono really needs to win this round to stand a chance, you know. And he can't let Buckley recover. Like, Buckley can recover and then throw a few big shots. Buckley's trying to kind of peekaboo his way into Morono, but he hasn't got the same pop anymore in his punches that he did earlier in the fight. I'd love to see Morono throw front. See here, this is where he should be throwing front kicks down the middle to the open side of Buckley and start to land the body shots. Then Buckley threw it. Buckley threw a body kick and it fucking landed. Morono, why aren't you throwing body kicks? Just throw a fucking front kick down the middle, Morono. Throw a front kick down the middle to the body. Throw a front kick down the middle to the body, Morono. Trust me. Listen to me. Please throw it because it's there for him. It will do a lot of good for him to throw that. It will do a lot of good here to really start to slow Buckley down. Buckley's slowed down like so much in this fight. This is what I said would happen. There's a right high kick to the body. We should be seeing some front kicks. Right high kick by Morono, but I'd love to see some front kicks to the body by Morono to slow Buckley down. 1 minute and 56 seconds to go in this round. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to knock Buckley out. Front right hand down the middle by Morono, and Buckley slowed down so much. It'd be a really good kick to throw. Right kick by Morono. Morono needs to throw him. But even like this, punch for punch, Buckley's going to win. Morono needs to they're spinning things. Morono's off balance a little bit. Throw a spinning back fist. Buckley's still throwing combinations, but they're really labored, man. There's a front kick. Good, Morono. He threw it. Throw it again. Throw it again. Throw a right hand. Fake the right hand. Fake the front kick. Start feinting with your kicks. Good. Throws a right high kick. Throw the front kick again, Morono. Throw it again. Buckley with a labored left kick. Throw a front kick, dude. And it doesn't take that much energy to throw it. Throw it. Throw a teep or a front kick. Like a karate front snap kick or a Muay Thai teep. Either or. Throw it, Morono. Throw it, man. Buckley's fucking tired. 40 seconds to go. Nice exchanges. Buckley throws a front kick of his own. They should be throwing this because it's an open side of each fighter. Buckley has a double underhooks. Morono's defending. Buckley shucks him off. Transitions towards the back. Morono's fighting the grips. No, he's not really fighting the grips. Buckley's just holding him there with 12 seconds to go. I'm very frustrated with this. Very, very frustrated with it. James R says, do you have a favorite aesthetically speaking fighter stance? I don't know if that makes sense, but like Wonder Boy or Mighty Mouse, I enjoy watching them move their fighting positions. I think there's a few guys. I think Israel's very, very good to watch. Robert Whittaker, Wonder Boy. I like Peter Yan style. Demetrius Johnson, of course. I think Wonder Boy, if I didn't say him already. There's a few of those dudes like that fight like that. They got very, very good stance. Ophon says, Oliver Ekman, same concept as certain fighters moving up a weight class, had a massive size strength advantage. Fumple Fimple says, a fair one podcast. Yo, I just woke up. How late am I? How long to go is Joe Pyfer fighting this card? He's a good guy. Yes, there is. You still got plenty of time, dude. There's a lot of time. I think there's a few more fights on this card. So we're up to, Pyfer's next and then Bobby Green. We're about to restart. I do think in this fight that Moreno let this fight. Hello? Hello? Loretta? 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 Can you go get mummy? Can you tell mummy that the stream stopped? Hello? Can you hear me? Because it came off. Oh, okay. Excellent. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Fucking my stream, like it looked like my stream was off. And luckily I'm still here. Thank God. What would we have done? Um, so Buckley goes looking for a left high kick. They're exchanging. Now this is shit for Moreno because Buckley has a rest and comes in and he's a very powerful guy. Um, and he's trying to swarm Moreno. If he doesn't get Moreno out of there, like Moreno let the fight slip out of his hands like that in that second round. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, guys. My apologies, guys. My apologies. Let me go back to Moreno gets Buckley down. Buckley's got negative jiu-jitsu, by the way. So you don't want your feet on the ground, like you want really to be starting to try and get your guard back. Oh, he's landing big shots on Moreno. Um, Big shots by Buckley now. Moreno, 152 seconds to go. I think Buckley's going to get him out of there. Um, Let me see. Can you hear me? Sorry, there's something wrong with this. Give me 1 second. Let me see. I'm gonna have to. Can you? Is it all clear or it's not clear? Because it just feels like it's not. Okay, guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Um, yeah, no, okay, I don't know what it is. Sorry, guys. Sorry about the. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Because people are saying it's cutting in and out. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm paying for this. 23 seconds to go now. Moreno's in all sorts of trouble. Buckley wins this fight easily. I felt that there were moments in that second round where Moreno could have capitalized Buckley slowing down a tad if he had used front kicks to the body, but it didn't happen, and so we move on. Buckley's going to get a clear decision win, and congratulations to him. Ophon says, "Damn, more than 20%. Holy moly!" Laugh at the clock is definitely human. No, I do think that, man. I know it sounds absurd, but I do really think that it's fucking insane how much stronger um, someone like Volkanovski is. You know, until you're around him. Like I've been around the featherweights, the lightweights, and there's dudes that are big and they're strong and blah blah blah. But Volkanovski is like absurdly strong. The way that he's made, you know, like it's not normal. So it would not be fun to be fucking a featherweight and have to face down that monster. Think of the difference between a tip and a front kick. Is like the front kick is like a front snap kick. How I'm saying it? It's like a front snap kick, like that, and a tip is like boom, boom, like that. They're just different in the space and the in the space that you use it and what you're trying to use it for. It's harder to see and to catch a quick front kick than it is like a tip. Sometimes if you see it coming, you can move and like kind of parry it across. They're both hard, but they're both very effective if you can use them. All right, I am back. No, Buckley definitely won that fight, and he won it clearly and easily. Um, yeah, just let me know if there's still problems with the audio because I'm I'm sad that that happened. So Buckley's very happy that he won. That was a good win for Buckley. I just he definitely came out super strong and slowed down a little bit in that second round, and he couldn't get Moreno out of there, but he was able to impose himself completely on Moreno in that third round. And all throughout the fight, really, but just he slowed down. It wasn't like he wasn't good. It wasn't like he wasn't fighting anymore. And Moreno didn't capitalize on that when he did. But he looks good at welterweight. I don't know how good, but he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good at that weight. I'll be right back, people. Right back. Okay. There's nice, interesting ones. Okay. Oliver Ophon says it might just be the audio. Are you closer to the mic than usual? Video is smooth and high quality. Fumble Fix was a fair one podcast range TV. I'm pretty sure there's a 1 minute delay in chat versus what we see, bro. Oh, fuck, I can't do anything about that. Or maybe it's 1 minute or more chat delay, bro. I don't know. I can't say anything like that. I'm guessing he restarted the stream because he saw my message saying he's stuttering. What? That's what I think anyway. Well, Buckley did need a win. It sounds smooth to me at the moment. SG, isn't there is it, at SG? Isn't there snow in some parts of Australia? Yes, there most certainly is snow in some parts of Australia. It's about 4 hours from here. Um, SG says, I think Oz is always hot. We have a winter, but it's not unless you're at the snow, which is about 4 hours from here. It's the winters are like, depends in some parts here in like Sydney, the outskirts of Sydney, it'll get to -0 at night. It's cold, but it's not like, Canada or somewhere like that. It isn't that cold. But you will get -0s. Like in Tasmania, it snows, Victorian Alps, it snows, and like Perisham, all that will snow as well. So there is a snowy mountain ranges and that, but it's not. You don't have like overall that. Plus, Christmas time is summertime for us. So June is our winter. So we don't get -40 in Canada is absurd. We don't have that. Ophon says Joe Pfeiffer looks like Tom Hardy in the Lawless movie set in the 1920s alcohol prohibition era. It does. He does. No, it doesn't get like that fucking cold like during the thing, but Christmas is summer. So when you're asking me how do we celebrate Christmas without snow, it's just like that's just what it is. You just go to the beach and you just open presents and stuff like that. Like it's not that big of a deal, I suppose, 'cause we don't associate Christmas with snow in this country. I don't know how Pfeiffer's gonna approach this. He's a very, very good grappler, and Al Hassan has shown that he's for being a judoka of the level that he is, his takedown defense, his grappling is pretty, like, bad, you know what I mean? And so I think that the best deal for him is to probably wear him out a little bit, and then I think by far he's the more technical of the 2 is, Pfeiffer with his striking. Just a second, guys. For those of you that are still watching, I just put this on blank because my wife has to fix something that's happening with our internet. I'm lucky I have my wife on many, many levels because I'm a fucking idiot as far as this is going. This is hard, man, for us today. The internet is messing up. The son is walking out to the fights, and he looks like he's dancing, but he looks like he's dancing a little bit angrily. What? How much of an effect this will have on Joe Pfeiffer's confidence, Al Hassan's ability to dance is still without us being able to realize. I don't know if this dancing is intimidating Pfeiffer. I don't know how well versed Pfeiffer is in hip hop culture. If it is this, I'm not sure. But yeah, Al Hassan is doing a number of things. He's wearing a silver chain. All of these things done obviously to intimidate Joe Pfeiffer. Joe Pfeiffer must be in the back absolutely petrified. Oliver Ekman says, Fabi, you a good dancer? Nah, no, I'm fucking terrible. Um, I was, Ophon says, I actually thought that Pfeiffer and Bo Nickel were the same guy. They do look so much alike. Hey, I agree. Like, I never thought they were the same guy because I followed Bo Nickel for a long time, but it's funny because they do actually look very, very similar. We're back, people. We're back. Same with Al Hasparast and Kelvin Gaston. Akparast and Kelvin Gastelum. I was wondering who that guy was, Hasparat. And he comes, Pyfo's walking out, he's wearing the US flag, and he looks very relaxed. There is some sort of talking and chanting coming from him. I don't know that he's going to commit to a full dance, though. Yeah, we're struggling today. I don't know what happened with the internet today for us. It's a tough one. A tough day in the household. And my kids just don't stop, man. They just do not stop. Right, Jeff Neal and Neil May, they look similar. Um, and I find there's a few guys. I always think Curtis and Jacob Malkoon, I always think they look alike. Like it's like I was gonna say, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's Black Jacob or Brown Chris, but they look very similar with their hairdos and whatnot and their beards. There's a few of those people floating about. Pfeiffer's walking up. I wonder what way he's gonna look at. I wonder what way he's gonna take this fight. If he's gonna want to strike with him, or if he's gonna try and grapple him. Because I do think that the path of least resistance versus Al Hassan is to grapple him. He's a very good grappler. He's by far very very good grappler. And the age difference is huge. It's a big age difference, 27 to 38. It's 11 years. The height difference matters a lot. There's a little bit of a reach advantage, but the range is different, you know. Um, Ofon says, to be honest, Pfeiffer looks like a prison escapee to me. He does look like a scary dude. He has a very physically intimidating presence as well. Like with his, just how big he is. He's like a big boy now in that division. He's taken the time to build his body into his division, and I feel that Al Hassan is kind of like squat and powerful, but he's significantly smaller, and he does carry power. But I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to impose this on Python necessarily, unless he catches him early. He has big power. He has big fucking power, but it has to be early in the fight. Pfeiffer's a scary guy, man. Fumple Fimple says you should watch his pre-fight press conference. He's an awesome guy. Yeah, I've listened to some of his stuff. I don't know. Like, I try not to get into it too much. Like with I just try and watch just the fights so it doesn't mess up. How I see a fight. I just see that he's taken the time to physically grow into his frame, and he's a very good grappler. In particular for MMA, he's a very good grappler. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be Gordon Ryan or anything like that, but he's a very good grappler with very big power in his hands and good, solid fundamental boxing. And so we're off. We are off. Both men in the orthodox stance. Yes, well done by Pfeiffer. Shows he's very fucking clever because he shot a big double leg on Al Hassan early. He has him in a standing head arm. Al Hassan is able to make this, I think, good balance there by Al Hassan early on. To take him down from the upper body like that is going to be hard because Al Hassan's a good joker. But the double leg defense is almost non-existent from Al Hassan. That was a big double leg by Haifa. That was very interesting. It shows that he's smart, and that he was able to do that. Trying to take him down like that from the upper body is going to be hard because Al Hassan being the judoka that he is. Al Hassan's backing him up a little bit. Al Hassan with big right hand by Al Hassan. Al Hassan standing in the southpaw stance, right kick to the body by Pfeiffer. 1-2 by Pfeiffer. Right hand by Python down the pipe. El Hassan goes looking for it. Big slam by Python. El Hassan looking for a guillotine, which he's not going to get. I mean, look, Pfeiffer's on the wrong side as far as ending the guillotine, but I don't think he's going to be able to finish this guillotine. Is Al Hassan. Al Hassan's going to try it, grab, and he's going to use the guillotine to try and get up. But this is already going to start taxing El Hassan a lot. Just the grappling, the grabbing of the body, and that of Pfeiffer getting up and getting down. Just the way he was grabbing the body, this big isometric hold, they all start to take their toll. But El Hassan is looking he's looking calmer than usual. He's looking like he's calmer than usual. You know, Pfeiffer's backing him up against the cage. El Hassan, they're both respecting each other's power. Like this is a big thing, you know, that Pfeiffer's not stupid. He knows that El Hassan has a lot of power. Oh, left kick by El Hassan from the southpaw stance, a right hand by Pfeiffer. Goes looking for a leg kick as Pfeiffer. El Hassan gets out of the way, answers the calf kick of his own. 2 minutes and 32 to go in the first round. Pfeiffer has to keep making Al Hassan work, you know, and take some of that power away because outside of that, I don't see Al Hassan beating Pfeiffer outside of landing a big shot. It looks like they're in different weight divisions too. But El Hassan is a very powerful, very compact fighter. Oh, goes looking for a big right hand as El Hassan. But his shots are starting to become a little bit more telegraphed, a little bit more labored. Nice right hand lands by Pfeiffer. That was a big shot by Pfeiffer that landed on El Hassan. El Hassan is now skirting the outside of the cage, and Pfeiffer's starting to land now. He's starting to land big shots on El Hassan. He's definitely hurting. El Hassan is one of those dudes that's very fucking dangerous, even if you hurt him. He can land a good shot. Big leg kick by Pfeiffer. Big leg kick landed by Pfeiffer. He's starting to pick El Hassan apart now. This is when the fight settles like this was into the second round, like midway through the second round, I think Pfeiffer's going to stop him. I think Pfeiffer's going to hurt El Hassan early, which he already has. I think El Hassan is going to survive this round, and Pfeiffer's going to finish him late in the second, I think. Because El Hassan will be fresh, relatively fresh in the start of the second round and super dangerous. But he's definitely slowed down against Pfeiffer now. Pfeiffer's made him work. He used a lot of energy to get back up. 47 seconds to go. El Hassan's looking to get close. Pfeiffer's with some head movement. Pfeiffer puts him up against the cage. Pfeiffer looking for the right hand down the middle. He's landing them. Some of them are landing through the gloves. Some of them are landing on the gloves. But if anyone's ever taken a right hand and you put your hands up like this, you still feel it in the gloves. Pfeiffer goes with a swing and a miss with the right hand. Nice jab lands through the gloves of El Hassan. 17 seconds to go. El Hassan goes looking for a jab of his own. He wants to set up that overhand right, does El Hassan. He knows this is a lot of power. 6 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, right hand by Pfeiffer, and that's the end of the fight. Fazir versus Gamrot ending was so sad. We lost a classic fight, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with you. I agree. Al Hassan is quick, Gofon, he is, but the way that he fights requires like a lot of energy. Like everything that he does is like requires boom, big explosions, big energy, and it's again like a high energy, high reward, you know, but it also high risk. So if he doesn't land those things, he starts to slow down. Gofon, exactly, kind of like what he used to do. I think he's a bit of like a poor man, and I think that Pfeiffer's going to finish him somewhere at the end of the second round. Hofon says Hassan is way faster, or maybe that's because he's conserving his perfect shot. Yeah, I don't know if he's faster than Pfeiffer because Pfeiffer's being more methodical, so it's not really showing swinging, trying to blitz. Okay, so now we're off, guys. The start of the second round is gonna be a very telling situation here. I'd like to see Pfeiffer shoot a double leg and take it down again. That's what I'd like to see because I think that'll be the end of Al Hassan's energy systems there. Now, at the start of this second round, he's gonna be re-energized and he'll be very dangerous. But after a couple of minutes, he'll be done. He's back Piper up. He's back Piper up. Piper once again. Piper drops his head dangerously, you know. Piper's got the double underhooks and he's pushed Al Hassan up against the cage. The way that he dips his head is open for a left high kick if Al Hassan wants to throw it. He dips his head classically like a boxer to his right, which makes it very dangerous if Al Hassan throws a knee or a left high kick. Nice half kick by Al Hassan. He's backing Pfeiffer up. He's definitely backing Pfeiffer up at this stage. But give it a little bit more time in this round. If Al Hassan can't get Pfeiffer out of it early, Pfeiffer's going to come back. He's going to stop Al Hassan. This is like Pfeiffer switches to southpaw because his legs getting chewed up there. That lead leg by Al Hassan, but he lands a bigger, more powerful combinations in deep on a double leg. Takes Al Hassan down. He's got the head control. He's in half guard, but he's using the like Al Hassan's half guard is non-existent really. This is more of a Turk ride by Pfeiffer starting the pass. He's got the head arm choke. I think he's going to get the head arm choke here. Al Hassan's done. End of the second round. I think like this is exactly what I thought he's tapping. Is he tapping or was that punches? And he's out of it. Really, really nice work by Pfeiffer. I think I like this fight for Pfeiffer and for Pfeiffer's development because I feel that it gave him just enough resistance to show him what he needs to work on because there's definitely some areas there for him to work on. He's a monster. He's definitely a monster. He's definitely going to do some damage in that middleweight division. And other guys, like I said, other guys that I want to see fight up, and not fight each other. Yeah, it's over. Head arm choke finish. Um, and so I definitely think that this was a great fight. Like you were able to see what he can do, what he could do better, what he's susceptible to. It showed a lot in this fight, whereas you don't get to see that in his other fights. Al Hassan is more dangerous than he is great, if this makes sense. He's got huge amounts of power in his hands and in his kicks, and he's someone that you have to be careful of. You know what I mean? When you fight him, he went out. But I'm pretty sure he fucking tapped. Yeah, I agree, Ofon. It was unclear what he was trying though with the closed fist tap. Yeah, it was fucking weird. It was very unclear. I don't think that you could blame Piper or the ref for that. Like, if you called it early, you would have said no, I was punching him. So it wasn't a very clear tap, and so you get choked out for that. Um, and you could almost see like Piper second guess it, like for 1 second, and then he just double squeezed on it because the ref didn't stop. Um, that was really good. That was really, really, really good. Like really, really impressive. But not just impressive. Like I said, it wasn't just impressive. It laid down some foundations, I think, for him and his team to go back and work on, which I think he'll absolutely do. I think he'll absolutely do that. Just little things, just a few little things here and there. But like I said, he's a very tough customer, is Hassan. And sometimes you kind of wish that you fought a guy that was more dangerous and younger, same level as you, because you fought a guy that's dangerous and older and was never going to hold the belt in that division. No offense to Hassan, he's never going to hold the belt. He's never going to get a contender. And if you lose to him, that can throw you back a long way. And so it was. I think there's a lot of pressure on him in that regard as well. Um, Ofon says, "I'm not complaining about the ref. It was a good call. Just hate the situation, even though I love the sport. Absolutely. Everyone says, "I love seeing the knockouts, but I'm conflicted due to the damage people permanently receive." No, absolutely. Like, I think if you're people are like those fans where, "Yeah, like, you have to see some of the damage that's being caused. And that's why when people talk about certain things, and I think, man, you don't fucking know what you're saying. Like letting certain fighters keep fighting, and then people say, "Well, it's up to him." And I think, but he doesn't fucking understand the damage that's being caused. And again, when people use a stupid argument that says, "Well, he's an adult," who the fuck cares if he's an adult? Like, I'm an adult, but I'm not a neurosurgeon. I don't understand the damage that it's causing. I don't understand, like, even though I have an idea of the damage that it can cause, but I don't really get it. And you don't get it until later in 50, 60 years old, and you realize, like, there's all these other things starting to come that are only going to get worse, and it's irreversible. And so I think that those things are pretty fucking heavy, that people don't get. So it's not just up to the fighters. Like, I think when you're seeing some guys, people go, "Well, he could still win." Like, I don't know if he can still win. There's guys like Ferguson that when I see him, man, like, he's not gonna go, like, the whole way with it, you know what I mean? And so, not anymore. He was great at one stage, and now, like, at 39 years old in the lightweight division, like, mm, like, you've had I don't know how many losses in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 losses in a row. Like, I don't what the fuck are you after? You know what I mean? Like, what are you last win was in 2019. He's taking a lot of damage. What are we after here? And you know what the problem with a lot of the wins, a lot of the fights for Ferguson are like the stoppage with Nate Diaz in the 4th round. Took so much damage in those 3 rounds up to that. 3 rounds with Bobby Green, where Ferguson, people look at that and go, "He was competitive enough. He's just tough enough to get hurt really bad." Uh, Beneil Dariush beating for 3 rounds. Charles Oliveira fucking beating for 3 rounds. Gaethje, round 5 stoppage, a fucking beating, and they're like one after one after one. A lot of his fighting, his durability is the fact that he could keep imposing himself because he had such, and that's what I find sad. That's what I really find sad. So sorry, I'm just missing a few. I can't hear Pfeiffer's speech, but if somebody can give a synopsis on it. Now this guy's good. This guy is very fucking good. Um, he's grappling good. He's a fucking tough man. And Ofon, the Gaethje fight, man, they're real more big, man. That was crazy. Doesn't fucking Pfeiffer look like Gaethje as well? He looks like Gaethje and Bo Nickel. Like the three of them are like long lost brothers. He looks like a middleweight Gaethje. Nah, I don't know. Like there's fights that I just fucking shouldn't be fighting anymore, dude. There's not stop it. You know what I mean? Or if he's gonna be fighting, which he's still gonna get the damage, he should be fighting the equivalent of that. Like he should be fighting, pro wrestlers in Japan or something, getting paid some money for it, fucking something. Uh, Ofon says he's basically saying believe in yourself because anyone that says they aren't scared before they fight are full of it. Agreed. Ofon says laugh out loud, and Ofon says just for FYI, he looks like the stereotypical dude from West Virginia. Ah, okay, fair enough. See, I don't know this. Ofon says tough ass country dudes. Yeah, he's definitely got that aura about him. He definitely has. Man, it was a good point. He showed some things that he's probably lacking against the top guys at this moment. But I think this fight's bad for other people that are going to have to fight him because this gives him enough. Like I said, this gives him enough to go and work on, but it gives him the confidence and the paycheck to keep moving. And definitely the finish over Al Hassan and the way it was because like there were moments when Al Hassan's kind of moving him back, but it's a fight. But there was no part of that fight where Al Hassan was really in it. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, Ofon says he did look a bit rigid at times. Yeah, and I do think that a lot of that comes from just having to handle that pressure, and he's got a lot riding on him at at this stage of his career. And Al Hassan, I do think, is a difficult guy to fight if he's fighting him like the way that with the pressure that he had, because the pressure was for him to come out and starch Al Hassan. Everyone was expecting that, like for him to come out and beat him, it had to be dominant and it had to be done quickly. You know, like as far as like the expectations that have been put on him. But the problem is that Al Hassan is a tough customer himself. You know, he's not uh, he's physically dangerous and tough, and you can't just go, yeah, all right, fuck, we're going to run over him because you'll get caught, you know. And so the path of least resistance against Al Hassan is to take him down, hold him down if he can, and he's going to get up, and then he's going to be dangerous. So you don't want that. And then we got one fight to go: the Bobby Green versus Dawson fight. I'm glad. I like watching Imavov fight, but I'm glad that he's out of that fight because I didn't want to watch him fight. I didn't want him. I didn't want to watch him fight Aliskerov. I felt that they were just kind of killing off a contender, you know. So I'm glad that Alves is in versus Aliskerov because that actually is going to give us a really good indication of where Aliskerov's at, and it's also going to give us an indication of, and it's not killing off a contender. Should he win? It's actually creating a new contender, which I like. I wasn't a fan of that fight, to be honest with you. I wasn't a fan of the fucking. I don't like watching two up and coming guys kill each other off. I just don't. It, especially in a division where I want to see people fight up, you know, not fight each other. And now we again same deal. F1 says UFC events must be so good for Abu Dhabi for the UFC to put such an emphasis on creating one or two events there per year. I don't, yeah, yeah. I think Abu Dhabi is excellent because it's very, very central as far as not for Australia and not for the US, but definitely for from if you think of it like Central Asia, all those like the Kazakhstan fighters, all of those guys, much easier. Europe easier to get to. Asia in general, it's easier to get to Abu Dhabi. So yeah. Um, Hofon says, "Yeah, man, I don't know who else is listening, but so many contenders are going to be emerging in a year or two. I don't want to drown out your chat, but I hope other people join in soon. True, like a central hub. Yes, man. It seems like just you and I are talking Hofon. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's all good. Um, yeah, no, I definitely think that it is like a very central spot in the world, and it's very like the infrastructure is very developed. It's a very safe country. It's probably safer than the US, you know. So it makes sense that you're going to have that there. It makes sense that like, I'm not getting into politics of the place or anything like that. I'm just saying like from a completely looking at it like a completely just talking about fighting perspective and just talking about holding a show. They have money. They're going to back that up, and it's super safe. And you're going to be able to have everything for the fighters. Joseph says, "Hey coach, just stopped by to ask what I missed Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. You say everybody cooking. Hope everything's all good with you, coach." Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Um, Happy Thanksgiving. And yeah, well, Joe Piper just stopped Al Hassan. That's probably the biggest thing. I'll just give you a recap really quickly. Bill Algeo beat Alexander Hernandez in a unanimous decision. Drew Dober KO'd Ricky Glenn. That'd be, in my opinion, so far the performance of the night. Joaquin Buckley beat Alex Morono in a very lopsided decision, which was fair enough. Middleweight Joe Piper beat Abdul Razak Al Hassan with a technical submission, and in the second round. And lightweight Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green is about to happen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're at. Um, yeah, man. Like it's not just Houston. It's like heaps of other places. Like it's not set up the same way that Abu Dhabi is. Like Sydney, where you hold the fights, like in Sydney, where you hold the fights, it's very safe. You know what I mean? It's not. It's you wouldn't have any problems or anything. But I do think like places like Abu Dhabi to hold the event would probably be really easy. And in terms of the infrastructure and accommodation, everything, it's state of the art. So I think that that's going to be a very popular destination point and easy as a very, very great hub for people to base themselves out of as well, which is makes sense with Chimaev and the Emirates and that. Now we have Dawson versus Green. Joseph says, I can't believe I missed Trudeau's fight. Happy for his win. It was a really good performance actually by him. It was a very, very good performance. And now we've got this, which I fear that Grant Dawson is just going to lay off Bob Green for not just lay. I'd say that, but I'm a grappling fan. But I do think that he's just going to take him down, get a body from Angle, and fucking stay there. Um, Joseph says it was strange, almost like the guy didn't think he could do anything to hurt though. But it happens, man. You saw it like when I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, like I said about Charlo and Canelo, and you saw it. Canelo at one point just went, "Fuck it, you can't hurt me." He just came forward, and that made it a difficult fight. Like it wasn't just that. Obviously, the fight there were other moments. Charlo had his moments too, but he just the physicality of it, he couldn't keep Canelo off. It's gonna be oh, I actually like, Bobby Green actually in real life. I've met him a couple of times, and he's actually a real sweetheart of a guy. Ofon says, "It's gotta feel horrible as a fighter you prepared months or weeks for." Man, that's one of those things I think with, like, when you look at someone like Volkanovski at featherweight as well, where the dude hits like a fucking truck. And he's physically imposing and he's difficult to keep off you. Very fucking hard to mentally come out round after round and try and hurt him if you can't even keep him off you. This is difficult. And when he grabs you, you would feel like his power, his strength, and he feels like a fucking brick. I can't even explain that. He feels like a proper brick. Like he's so fucking dense and heavy and strong at that weight division that I don't know how you keep that guy off you. It would be mentally challenging to even fucking deal with that. Like how physically strong a guy can be like that. And you can't stop him. You can't stop him coming forward because he's technically sound too. You can't keep his legs. I mean, you can, but it's hard. That's why I find the Ilya Tapuria fight interesting. Because Tapuria does hold power in his hands. Emmett survived it though. But again, like there's a difference when you are fighting for to win and to keep your belt, and to keep the legacy that Volkanovski has. Whereas Emmett isn't like he's fighting to not lose these rounds. You know what I mean? And there's a point in that fight where outside of him catching Ilya Tapuria with a big shot, he wasn't going to win the fight. So it's a different way and different openings that you create. Um, Joseph says, Coach, how does being in a home crowd bring into a fighter mindset? Is it an asset or a curse? Um, and Osborne had his own answer there. Says probably depends on the situation. Derek Lewis was still going. It probably hurt since he couldn't land it. Um, I think look, the home crowd. I don't know how much it helps. It helps when you're winning. They really, really cheer for you. Or if the fight's close, everything, provided they're going for you, the home crowd, everything you do. So if you throw a kick and the guy checks it, they'll celebrate it, and that affects the judges. And if he throws a kick, um, and it the same thing, they won't say anything, and that affects the judges. That absolutely affects the judges. So as far as that's concerned, it's good. If you're losing, it's not good. If you're losing, it's not good. And then in the lead up to it, there's a lot of pressure and um, a lot more things you have to do as far as media. Just like just being around. You just have to do a lot. But on the flip side of that, you have your house, you can stay in for Australians, it matters a lot because that means you have to check in the hotel on Tuesday. You could really stay at home and just come in and do media if you live near the stadium, and that matters a lot. You sleep in your own bed, you've got your fridge, you've got, you have everything in your city. This matters fucking huge. It's a big fucking difference. Or you can just go into the hotel on a Tuesday and do the whole hotel thing, but you're still doing the whole hotel thing. You can stay, but like I said, you can stay at home. That's a big one. And home crowd, like I said, like most Volkanovski would have experienced the first part, just to give an example, the first part of it where it's a crowd and the cheer for you and all of that shit. But Perth is not really home because you're an hour, 5.5 hours flight. So you're not in your house, you're not in all of that, and you're still going to experience a little bit of jet lag. But definitely those other things matter a lot. And just then if you go to another country, like there's countries where like the dairy is not going to sit well with you. The jet lag is fucking real. For Australians, the jet lag is massive. So the home crowd thing there for us, it's not the home crowd, but the home. If you're from Sydney, you can fly to Sydney. It's a massive advantage, a huge advantage, and people underestimate the jet lag and the length of the flight and all that. So yeah, these are big things. SG says that crowd definitely got in Alger's mind against O'Malley. I don't know this. You know what I mean? I really don't know this. Um, Illuminated says it's definitely safer than the United States, no comparison. You're talking about Abu Dhabi, yeah, like it's it's absolutely safe. You know what I mean? So you can't. These are things you don't even have to worry about. There are countries that they hold the UFC or they'll hold other events, and I've been like with national teams, and we go to other countries, you can't leave the hotel or the compound. And if you're from that country, then you're going to have a much bigger advantage. You know what I mean? Because it starts to wear you out. Irfan says, I couldn't believe how fast the O'Malley versus Aljo fight ended. Yeah, but and people get caught, dude. People get caught with big shots, and that's the fight. You know what I mean? Look, they could fight again and be a completely different fight, or he could fight again and he gets caught again. You know what I mean? Like this is fighting. You know what I mean? Like you get caught and it's over. And there's no let's replay it. If you eat a hot one like that, it's over. You're fucked. You're gone. And that's the game. That is the game. Bobby Green coming out doing a little bit of dancing himself, it seems. He's happy, he's smiling, he's dancing. Um, Ofon says, you're right, but still, I guess I didn't remember Alja being even rocked since he fought Moraes. Man, it's a game, dude. It just happens. And sometimes it's your night, and sometimes it's not. And you can prepare perfectly, you can have the right game plan, and the guy just catches you. And because yeah, you have to understand the other guy's good too. You know what I mean? The other guy's good too. So you're trying to impose everything that you did on another guy, and he's done everything the same. Like he's prepared for you, da 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 da, and it's just going to be who gets their game off first. This is people don't get this, man. Like this is whilst say for example, in my opinion, Khabib was and is the better fighter out of him and McGregor. But had McGregor caught him at some stage in that fight, it would have been over. The same if he had caught him right on the chin, it would have been over, and then everyone would have said, "Oh my God, McGregor's unbeatable." Da 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 da. Ofon says, I'm in the pool of fans that starts to see people as invincible no matter how many times we see long range games fall in the most unpredictable of ways. At least you know it. You know what I mean? At least you know that. But people don't get that. It's just a fight, man. And people just they get caught, they get older, they slow down, they have a bad matchup. And then you only need a couple of those things to combine, and you lose. Like you get a guy that's got a bad matchup on you, like and you have a bad night and you have a bad preparation because life still happens to fighters outside of the octagon. So you get all of it combined, you're gonna fucking lose. You can lose at the best of times too. I'll be back in 1 sec. Just gonna get water. Ofon says Prime GSP getting KO'd by Sarah. Yeah, 100%. Like this easily happens. This is another thing. Like I think with Khabib, like a big is people don't get that. Like, and he understood that. Like him leaving when he did, I think, is a massive testament to how clever he was and is. You know, like he all the stuff he wrote privately on his on that would have also had an impact on why he left. But like if you look at his early fights, like a lot of his early fights, the guys are fucking, he was always going to, and people are padded record or no, you don't say that about him. This is fact. But that doesn't mean that he's dumb. If anything, it shows that how cleverly he was managed by his father and his team. Like they built him up, they got him into the UFC. He had some close fights at the start, man. At least the Bow fight and some fights where it didn't look like he was going to be a champion. Like it looked like, this guy's a grappler, but he's not necessarily going to go the whole way. People say, in hindsight, people forget that they didn't rate him at the start. Then they go, no, people didn't think that. Then when he won his fights and when he started smashing people and he won the way he did, there was always going to be a younger challenger coming through. Always. Do you know what I mean? And so, not to say that he couldn't have beat everyone or that he could have just stayed undefeated till now. Yes, and all of that. But you're only about 1 second away getting clipped. And what that would have done, like let's say at 33 he gets clipped. This is fucking easily could happen. It doesn't have the same like light on everything that he's done if he'd retired then. He left greatest, you know what I mean? Very fucking smart. Not many people are strong enough or smart enough to do that. SG says, what is your most memorable UFC moment? Honestly, whenever I think of when people say that, there's probably a million of them, you know, that if you mention them to me, I'll go, yeah, fucking that one, or this one, or that one. But the one that just pops into my mind all the time is when Weidman KO'd Silva. That was just fucking crazy. You know what I mean? To me, like because I was going for Weidman, I thought Weidman was going to win, but I didn't like. He did. You know what I mean? And then he knocked Anderson Silva out. That to me was like, and how dominant Anderson was up until that point. That was fucking pretty crazy. Joseph says, "Is that Thiago Alves in Dawson's corner?" I missed him. I didn't see it. SG says that was wild. SG says Bisping winning the belt was also crazy. Yeah, Bisping winning the belt was crazy, especially because of how Rockhold beat him. But still, man, like I didn't have, like I was like, that's crazy. But I just remember the way that fucking what's his name? I just remember when Weidman won. It was fucking crazy to me. SG says both Thiagos are in his corner. If you've got two Thiagos in your corner, you're generally going to win. SG says Pereira winning the belt was crazy too. Yeah, Pereira winning the belt was crazy, but he'd beaten Israel before. You get what I mean? Like, yeah, it was crazy. Leon Edwards knocking out Usman the way he did was crazy as well. Um, but that's what I'm saying. We can go through heaps of them. The one that just bang comes to my mind um, is when you say it is that one, Weidman versus Silva. But then there's a lot of crazy ones. You know, we're off 4:55 to go. Um, McGregor and Diaz fight, the first fight, that was pretty crazy. They're both guys are trading. Bobby Green forward, just walking forward with his hands down, looks for a front kick. Does Bobby Green exchanging kicks? Oh, fuck, he drops Dawson. He drops Dawson. Bobby Green drops him. Dawson's out. Dawson's out. Fucking hell. There you go. There's a memorable moment. Jesus, he knocks him out. Just like that. Wow. I didn't pick I didn't pick this fight to go this way. Jesus. What a win for Bobby Green. Good for Bobby Green. He caught him flush, dude. What a fight. Like, what a what a performance. Good for him. Wow. They hug each other. Fuck me. Dawson was on the up too. Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is MMA. You know what I mean? This is a guy that's got nothing but wins, you know, in his last. So one loss against Hugh Pulley, a draw against Ricky Glenn, and then nothing but wins, you know, nothing but wins. And he gets clipped by Bobby Green. Nothing against Bobby Green, but like watching the replay now, you can watch the whole fucking fight. And maybe Dawson wins this one now. They're just exchanging, you know, like they're just exchanging. You can see you're watching the whole fight again. Bobby Green's walking forward with his hands down. Right, big right hand by Dawson. Front kick by Bobby Green. Right high kick by Dawson. And Bobby Green just hit him with the left hand right on the button. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it happens, you know. And then 37 hammer fist like an angry carpenter and knocks him out. And this is the game. And Bobby Green is what? Let me have a look. Everything statistically should have been to the other guy, 37 years old. And, you know, other than Tony Ferguson, he had a no contest against Jared Gordon, a loss to Drew Dober by KO, TKO, lost to Islam Mahashev, like lost to Fiziev, lost to Moises, like, you know, a couple of wins in between. But, you know, there's nothing in there that you think that he should, you know what I mean? And then he got clipped, man. And good for Bobby Green, tough one for Dawson. Um, Ofon says the one trend I hate in combat sports right now is the whole celebrity boxing crap. You know, but everyone's going to want to do more money, less work. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will be doing a breakdown on the fights for the next coming weekend. Please join us on Tuesday at midday Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share the video. Thank you so much, guys, for a great afternoon, and I will catch you guys soon. Take care.